Hi, sweeties. How are you doing? Welcome to Naya Sim. Thank you so much for the support. Hope you all are doing great. So I came across a video. A brother was talking, he talked about how Black people shouldn't go out for this protest coming April, right? So a white woman was like, how is this helpful? I marched for the Black Lives Matters movement. I have protested for Palestine. Some of us do care. It is time to unite, not divide. Sincerely speaking, ma'am, nobody is dividing. You see, what happened in November was something that you all would have, like, you have all the chances to avoid it, but you all were looking for a way to preserve race. You all were looking for a way to also make sure that our life is better on your own side than every other person's side. But you all did not know that the future, what the future holds, was just going to be something different. You said you came out during Black Lives Matters and all that, and it's like a flex for you. Ma'am, I am trying to tell you that you actually saved yourself from so many things, because majority of the people that are being brutalized by the cops are it's your brothers and your husbands and your cousins that do that. So while trying to protect for Black people, you also were saving yourself from abusive husband, brothers, and all that. Because one thing with them is that if they do not see people that look like me to get, they probably will come one day and get you. So coming out to protest was you stopping them from doing some bad things. So don't do it like you did us a favor. You did not do us a favor, and Black people will still not come out till they are ready. Let's get into this video.
So Carrie Ann showed up in the comments section of my last video where I was telling Black people that they should stay home and not show up at anyone's protest, because a lot of these people chose not to listen to us in the last election, and now they are protesting something that they could have prevented. And she wanted me to know that she didn't think it was helpful, and that she protested for BLM, and that she protested for Palestine. Some of us do care. I don't give a fuck. I don't care. You know why I don't care that you showed up at protest, Carrie Ann? Because for a lot of you, specifically a lot of white people, it's just about the protests. It's just about performing for the cameras. And then when it comes time for you actually to prevent the things from happening, to show up at the polls, to be consistent in your messaging, to actually prevent what's currently happening now, you don't have that same energy. You don't. You simply don't. And specifically, white people don't have that energy. A lot of you simply show up to be the black sheep of your family, but you don't hold your families accountable for the regressive policies that they vote for. You simply show up to show us that you're there. And when it's time to actually prevent these things from happening legislatively, you do nothing to prevent them from happening. You don't have these conversations with other white people, but what you do a lot is you try to guilt Black people specifically into showing up and saving you from the mistakes that your families have made, the mistakes that a lot of white leftists made, the mistakes that a lot of non-Black leftists made. If you're not having those intra-community conversations where you hold yourselves accountable for what's going on in this country, I don't give a fuck that you showed up for Black Lives Matter. Because as much as you want to pretend that Black Lives Matter is simply for Black people, it is actually addressing police brutality that happens to everyone. Because if you're addressing the police brutalities that's happening specifically to Black people, white people will benefit, brown people will benefit, Latinos, Arabs, Muslims, Asians will benefit, because Black people are more likely to get abused by the police. A lot of you show up to these protests, again, to perform. You are performative activists, and you think just protesting is the end-all be-all, and it simply is not. And until a lot of you understand that it goes beyond the protests and actually showing up consistently at the poll, I'm going to advise Black people to withdraw their support until you guys learn to do more, to do better. A lot of white people, and this is not to every white person, this is to specific white people that do that. A lot of y'all have the audacity and the nerve to come online and try to lecture Black people for dividing the movements, the resistance against Donald Trump, as you say. What we are saying to you consistently, this is what we have continued to say to a lot of you. We're sitting this out because we, in essence, are tired of the performance of just you protesting, just you showing up for a protest, only to fuck us over with your vote. Because a lot of you are performative, and you believe that if you show up for a protest, that's the end all be all, right? That's the only thing that you have to do to show us that you are an ally. And it really, really is frustrating to me as a Black gay man that understands how white supremacy dictates every single thing in this country, even when it comes to how your families vote and your inability to call those family members out, the inability to hold your racist family members accountable that helped Donald Trump win. What you will instead do is try to hold those black people accountable for saying that they're going to sit the next 4 years out, even more so than your Trump supporting family members that are the reason why he's in the White House. I've had a lot of you drop down into the comment section of my videos across social media where I'm imploring you to have these community conversations amongst yourselves before you come to black people talking about unity, specifically knowing that a lot of you chose this election to divide yourselves from the black people. And now that you're seeing that Trump's policies are impacting you, you want unity with those black people that you made an concerted effort to divide yourselves from during the election. The same election that could have prevented all of this stuff that's currently happening from happening. If you are not examining within your communities the reason why black people are saying that they are going to sit the next 4 years out, if you are not devoting your time and energy to educating your community, to having these conversations with your community, and instead wasting the time of black people telling us in the comment section that you want us to show up to a protest because we should be unified right now and resist fascism, go fuck yourselves. Because that is performative. That right there is performative because you're not doing the same thing to your families. You're doing the protest because you like the performance of just protesting. But when it comes time to actually address the issue with a vote, or holding your family members accountable that vote for these regressive politicians, you are silent. And this is not just for white people. This is for every single non-black person that didn't see the clear and present threat of a Donald Trump presidency until his policies started to negatively impact you. Talk to your communities before you even think about talking to us. Period. I will say this, and I really want people to internalize it, receive it, and understand everything that I'm saying. If white people wanted progress in the United States, there would be progress. If white people wanted progress in the United States, there would be progress. People talk about the working class a lot, but they don't understand how working class white people, a lot of them overwhelmingly support the most regressive politicians that are in political office throughout the United States, specifically in red states. The majority of my mom's side of the family lives in the state of Florida. And in the state of Florida, what I've seen consistently from rural white people, meaning poor working class white people in the state of Florida, is that they consistently, overwhelmingly vote for the most regressive politicians they can find on the ballot. They will look for the ones that consistently scapegoat specifically black and brown people, more specifically black people, and blame them for them not having something. And these politicians that control things in those states specifically are never to blame. It's always someone else that they can punch down upon to blame for why they are not seeing the benefits of their vote. President Lyndon B. Johnson said, if you can convince the lowest white man that he's better than the best colored man, he won't notice you're picking his pockets. Hell, give him somebody to look down upon and he'll empty his pockets for you. That's what's happening right now. That's honestly what's happening right now. A lot of white people, specifically poor whites, already have someone to look down upon. They look down upon black people. They look down upon immigrants, brown immigrants more specific. They are willing to prevent progress because they don't want those black and brown people to benefit from the progress in this country. They don't want us here. Even though a lot of us have been here since the foundation of what became the United States, even though a lot of our family members were on this land as indigenous people before white people even came into this country, they don't want us to benefit from the progress of this nation. Because if they can prevent us from having progress, they will continue to even harm themselves to prevent us from seeing any sort of progress. That's why I get in the asses of white leftist peoples, because I know that they're not looking at it from that lens. They typically only focus on the political parties that are predominantly white on both sides of the aisle, and never ever really examine why these political parties, specifically the Democratic Party, stay stagnant. It's not because they want to. It's because they have to. Because white people don't want progress. And when I say white people, I'm saying this with the understanding that there are exceptions to the rule. Specifically, Jewish white people vote predominantly for progressive politicians. LGBTQ white people vote overwhelmingly for progressive politicians. But a lot of people that identify as white that are not actually European don't vote for progressive politicians. They vote alongside the overwhelming majority of European whites in this country that are straight, cishet, Christian overwhelmingly for regressive politicians because they feel that their proximity is more important than other groups benefiting from the policies that are put forth. So I'm going to say it again. If white people wanted progress in the United States, we would have progress. The political parties wouldn't matter. We would have progress because the overwhelming majority of white people would be voting for progressive politicians and not the most regressive politicians that they see on every ballot. Black people shouldn't show up to anybody's protest. And I'm going to say that until I'm blue in the face. Because for a lot of these people that are imploring that black people show up, if the policies that Donald Trump is currently putting forth were not directly negatively impacting them, and they were only negatively impacting African Americans, black people, those people wouldn't be showing up for us. A lot of those people that are now imploring unity in the face of fascism, in the face of a Donald Trump presidency, if his policies were only specifically, solely, entirely impacting the African American community, black people in general, these people would be sitting at home applauding their choice to either sit this election out or to vote for Donald Trump, contributing to his win directly or indirectly by doing nothing to stop him from winning. They would have nothing to say if it were just us that were struggling under the weight of a Donald Trump presidency. So what they're doing right now is they're trying to guilt black people into showing up for them, right? Attempting to rewrite history and pretend that we weren't the ones that were telling them that it was going to get as bad as it now is. And that they didn't tell us that we were being hyperbolic. We were overreacting. We were taking things out of context. If Kamala won, there would be no difference. If Donald Trump wins, there's going to be no difference because neither one of them are different from each other and they are exactly the same. And now they're seeing exactly what we were saying would happen. Everything that this country could be. And they're not taking into account that we were simply trying to warn them that as bad as this country is, or you believed it was in last year around election time, that it could always be worse. You heard this man say out of his mouth that he was going to deport hundreds of millions of immigrants. There are not hundreds of millions of illegal immigrants in the United States. You heard this man say that he was going to go after these pro-Palestinian protesters, what he labeled them as pro-Hamas protesters. If they held illegal protests, meaning he disagrees with the protests, he would then go after them with the fury of the federal government, which is what he's doing right now. You heard this man say that whatever Biden is doing is not enough for the Israeli government, and he would do everything in his power to ensure that Israel has the money to finish the job, and he would not stand in the way, like Biden, who's acting like a Palestinian, using Palestinian as a racial slur. You consistently saw what was in Project 2025 when it pertains to the LGBTQ community and all of these different marginalized communities in this country. You knew what that was about. That was a 900-page manifesto that we are seeing brought to life because Donald Trump doesn't have any checks and balances on him. Republicans have control of the House, the Senate, and the Supreme Court. And Donald Trump is leading them from the White House. They control every level of government. You have literally crippled the Democratic Party to do nothing. If it were simply that black people were being impacted by this, African Americans more specifically, being impacted by this, a lot of these groups that either contributed to Donald Trump's win directly by voting for him or telling people to vote against Kamala Harris to ensure that Kamala Harris's loss happened, that's directly. And indirectly by sitting home and not doing anything would not be protesting. So therefore, we need to sit this out. Let them do what they need to do to organize for themselves. Because they didn't take into account our words when we were telling them that the country could be worse. They ignored us then. So let them ignore us now at their protest.
Your friendly neighborhood misandrist here with a random conspiracy theory / potentially astute observation. The reason why the system here in the United States still upholds patriarchal attitudes and beliefs is because our United States government operates a lot like a loser man does, in that our government runs on the opportunity of potential rather than running on actual execution. Walk with me. Think about all of the excuses our elected officials give us as to why we don't have certain social programs or legislation that would widely benefit literally every single person in American society. Well, we can't do universal health care because we can't afford it, but we're still the greatest country on earth because we're rich and we could provide universal health care, but we're not actually going to execute that. We can't make more substantive public policy with respect to protecting women and children, although we're still the greatest country in the world because we have democracy and legislative checks and balances. So we could do it, and we want to do it, and we really desire to do it, and we hire statisticians and think tanks to tell us why we should do it, but we don't do it, right? Compare those excuses to the excuses that some loser man gives as to why he doesn't execute his own dreams or ambitions or goals, or execute anything worthwhile with committing to or working towards a healthy mutual relationship with you. Oh, well, babe, I was going to buy you flowers. Babe, I was going to schedule a date. Babe, I was going to take us out. I was going to plan a wonderful vacation. I was going to buy you this. Like those, they parallel one another, right? It's all about potential, and you just riding on potential the whole time without any actual execution. It's my belief and my theory that our United States government, all of our elected officials from the federal all the way down to the municipal local levels, operate in the same way that loser bummy men operate. They just coast on nothing but potential and promises rather than execution, even though both groups have the means to actually execute or commit to or do the things that they say that they have the capacity to do. So, you'll see it all the time with men. Just like I said, they promise to take you out. They promise that they're going to get their life together. They promise that they're going to get their act together. They promise that they're going to be faithful. They promise that they're going to get a job. They promise that they're going to do X, Y, Z. So they just promise, have all the means and the resources and the capabilities right within their fingertips, but don't actually act on it. And this reasoning, this conspiracy theory of mine is exactly why I think patriarchal systems continue to flourish in the United States, even in the 21st century, even in the light of all of the progress we have made with rights and legislation and public policy for marginalized groups, is because the United States government basically is operating like a loser bummy man who is just full of nothing but potential and empty promises. I'm right and I should say it.
This is all I got from this video, and I am going to say that I like what this young man said, because these people think that they can, Black people are the people we can take for granted. We can always come back at any point in time and ask them to help us, and they will help us. But Black people has actually moved on from every one of you guys, and you all have to realize this and buckle up, because the way it is, we don't care if you came out during Black Lives Matters, or if you came out to protest for what's it called, Palestinian movement. And let me ask you, what I am asking is, why did you vote for who you voted for? This is not see. These people do not understand that they had every chance, the opportunity was there in the platter of gold for them, right? To do the right thing. And what they have been doing all their life is to do the wrong thing. And to them, they feel like, Black people will always come up to save us, like they have always been saving the day, every time, every day, not knowing that in fact, there was going to be a shift. So this shift is something that they are not used to. And they are worried. They are kind of scared. Like, is it not Black people again? How come they are not coming out? How come they are not speaking? How come they are not doing anything? See, why Black people are seeing this particular one out is that you have all the chances to make things right, but you choose to do the wrong thing. And now you want them to come out and save you when they also need to be saved. And you are protecting because you all are losing your jobs, your farms, and all that. The migrants you all say that you do not want, you all do not also have them to farm, to do the jobs for you, to clean your houses, to do the farm work and the rest of it. That's why you all are coming out to protest. You are not coming out to protest because you wanted to help everyone, because you want to save yourself. If you were people that look like me or and other people that were in this condition, you will still not come out. So can we stop talking? Why I am saying this is because lessons need to be learned. There is need for the construction and relearning and unlearning, because you all are fond of doing the right thing and thinking that somebody manna will fall from heaven, like Black people have always been the manna, you people's manna. No, it's not going to happen this time around. The only time Black people are going to come out is when it is necessary. At this point in time, they are taking a rest. Every one of you coming out there knew that you messed up, you gassed up. Because this was something that they told you people. But you all were so, like what was important for you was your privilege to preserve it and continue to enjoy it. Because you thought that, we've been living greatly, ain't nothing happening to us. And now it's hit you people first. That's why you all out. See, I don't care whether you came out during Black Lives Matters and all that. It was also a great opportunity for you people to stop your husbands and your brothers, because majority of the people doing this are your husbands and your brothers, to stop them from being wicked, because they are being wicked. Police brutality is wickedness from your husbands and your brothers and your cousins. They are being mean, doing the wrong job at the wrong time and all that. So you also did yourself great. You also did yourself good by saving your brothers from being wicked and probably one day turning against you, because they think that it's all Black people that they get. Someday the people, when they keep turning on people and they don't see people, they will start eating you, just like animals, There are some animals that eat themselves. When they continue eating other people, the day they don't see the people to eat, snake might decide to swallow another snake, just to ecosystem, just to feed. You all got to tread with caution this time around, because you all already know the time it is. I love my people. I love my people. I don't care what you say. If you like, protect for human life, because while you are protecting for Black, you are protesting for your own life, because nothing is guaranteed, especially when it comes to you people. Bye for now.